The fastest way to kill your dreams is to compare them to someone else's highlight reel.
Oh, welcome to Modern Alchemy. Make it silly.
Silly?
Silly. Pretend you're like...
I'm a sloth. Sloth. That's... The fastest way to kill your dreams.
I needed that. Thank you. The sloths talk like that?
Sloth? I mean, Sid the Sloth. Remember, wasn't he in something? I used to be able to lisp.
What is
better.
that?
Lisp. Yeah. My friend Peter had a lisp. God bless him. He was the best.
Peter had a lisp?
Yeah, but I think because he had like a big tongue.
Seriously, guys.
Which...
He didn't know where to place his tongue.
Ladies, am I right?
Small tongue.
I wouldn't advertise that, Joe.
Hey, I make it up for it in other places. No,
People that don't make it up. No,
with effort.
I make it up with enthusiasm.
I'm just so happy to be here.
You know what, though? In any capacity, people that are just happy to be there, when you know that someone really is happy to be there, it makes things better.
When they're happy to bone?
No, I'm just saying in general, if you're doing something and the person you're with is happy to be there, and you know that they're just happy to be there, it is infectious. But if you were going to relate that to a sexual experience, people that don't want to be there versus people that want to be there, even if they're not good, when they're enthusiastic.
Yeah.
You know, that really speaks volumes. Like maybe you're not good at what you're doing, but if you are happy to be here, you know, it'll be appreciated.
Yeah, I know that. I like that. I always think when someone's bad at doing stuff, like has every partner that person been with also bad? I don't feel like it's hard to be good at things.
Okay, but here's something to consider. Maybe one, they haven't had that many partners.
True.
Okay,
it's probably
not
better
a fault
than
their
they're
own.
not bad.
Or their partner maybe liked something completely different and you don't like that.
Yeah.
And then the third thing would be, maybe their partner, they just had bad sex.
I think a lot of it is they just had bad stuff with their partner or the partners they've had. And I also think as I get older, I like more passion, and passion is a different pace than like, you know what I mean? So when I'm getting that, I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, my penis is going to break. Like, calm down. That's a good opener.
My penis is going to break.
Welcome to our canceled episode.
I have a new friend on TikTok, and she makes these TikToks. It's Color That Wang. And she has a penis coloring book. Isn't that funny?
Really?
Yeah. But she can't say penis, so she says wang.
Does she have a lot of peeps?
She's like 10,000 followers.
From coloring wangs?
Yeah.
Is that her literal entire channel?
Yeah. She's really funny.
Good for her.
I know. She's really nice. The fastest way to kill your dreams is to compare them to someone else's highlight reel.
Welcome to Modern Alchemy. Welcome to the show. My name is Joe Jennings. I am an executive coach and entrepreneur, and I'm here with my co-host, Christina.
Hi, I'm Christina. I'm an energy healer. Apparently, I'm a medium, potentially a psychic, but I'm really struggling with that terminology.
Is it because you can't control the power like you control your other power?
Ooh, I like the way you're putting it.
Yeah,
it actually goes to our question, too. I wanted to know, what superpower would you not want to have?
Oh, not want to have?
Yeah, you weren't expecting that, were you?
Such a good question. Wow.
Like, I know I do not want to read people's thoughts. Because it sounds great. But what if you can't turn it off? And then you're just constantly hearing everybody's thoughts all the time. Just imagine going to the grocery store. It's just so many thoughts. And they're not even probably good thoughts. They're probably like, oh, do I want this kind of turkey or this kind of turkey? Right? And you're like, shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear about this.
$7 eggs. What the heck? You would learn how to control it, though.
Would you?
Yeah, you would.
How do you know?
If you had it, if it was a power you had, like if you got it tomorrow, you would lose your mind. But if you had it your whole life, but you would eventually figure out how to live with it, you know? But to go from like not having it to having it, like that What Women Think Mel Gibson movie.
Oh,
where
I
all of a
remember
sudden
that.
you can hear what every woman thinks.
Yeah.
He loses his shit for a while.
Yeah.
And this is, okay, so that prompted my ideation. I wouldn't, even though it'd be so useful, want to be able to manipulate people's minds. because then you would never be able to establish
That's a superpower?
a real relationship.
Is that a real superpower?
Yeah, oh yeah. Like mind control. Because then you would never know. You would live this empty, vapid life where, unless you chose to not use it, which why would you not use it? You'd have to be very discerning with your use of it because you essentially have no real relationships.
That's so interesting that I didn't even think that that could be a possibility of a superpower. How about that? That's how my brain works.
It's just like, you
I'm
don't
like,
know what you don't know.
You would be invisible. These are what I'm thinking. They would be invisibility, flying.
For sure.
I don't know. Spider-Man, he like is able to. Yeah, I don't really know.
That's more a science thing, but he's got super.
Wait, is Spider-Man Italian? Is he Italian?
Hey, I got a web for you. Goomba. That dude, I think you figured it out. Spider-Man's not actually a spider. He's actually a really strong Italian man.
I saw this episode of Friends. You know what I'm talking about? And he's like, Chandler, he says, it's not Spider-Man. It's not his last name.
Spider-Man?
It's Spider-Man. But that's really funny because it's like, he's not Italian. He's a Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But maybe he is Italian.
I'm really excited about your topic today.
I wanted to talk about comparison is the thief of joy, which is a quote by Teddy Roosevelt. Do you know anything about Teddy Roosevelt? Other than him being a president?
Which Roosevelt was in the wheelchair? Was it Teddy or Franklin Delano?
Couldn't even tell you.
I think it was FDR. I know one of them also liked wearing women's lingerie. Oui.
Damn. Okay, well, I didn't know about that.
Yeah. I probably should have fact-checked.
I mean, you don't have to.
Which
you
dude did the Hoover Dam? FDR, I think. Who's the New Deal guy.
Wow. I guess I don't know much about these guys.
So this isn't a Teddy Roosevelt podcast. This is just a
But also, I asked you this question without having anything to back up because all I know about Teddy Roosevelt is a book I read, which was The River of Doubt of him in the Amazon.
Oh. That's a lot of information. It's a very niche topic about Teddy Roosevelt.
Yeah.
So it is funny that you posed the question about Teddy Roosevelt to me, and you're like, please say something about the Amazon because I will crush that rebuttal.
No, I was like, men love history. This is my brain working right now. Men love history, and I bet I'm going to mention Teddy Roosevelt, and you being a man are going to be like, actually, here's all these things about Teddy Roosevelt. And then I'm going to be like, I don't know anything other than this one character. This like 1 year of his life.
Yeah, I think most dudes do love history. All of my friends' dads, not all of them, but I'd say maybe half of them had either World War II or Civil War paraphernalia. No, I'll throw the Revolutionary War in there as well, but mainly World War II and Civil War. I actually had a friend whose dad was a Civil War, I think it was Civil War, expert. He was a lawyer, but his hobby was he collected Civil War stuff and had all these documents and stuff in the whole office. And he would occasionally, maybe annually, be on a History Channel thing as a Civil War expert.
Wow.
And he would speak on things. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's fun to take your hobby to that nerd level where I guess it gets validated, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. My dad would just make me watch things I never wanted to watch.
What was his flavor?
He loved B-52 fighter jets. He loved a fighter jet. Anything that we could do about jets and planes. Very
That's cool.
exciting. Also loved ships. So the Nimitz.
Nimitz.
Remember that? Yeah, the Nimitz. I went to Normandy one time. He thought that was the coolest thing ever because they stormed the beaches of Normandy. And anything war related. I don't know, the obsession with the war, maybe because his dad was in World War II.
I'm not a big history buff, oddly. I was a big video game kid. I found this out, though, because I used to love stealth bombers. That's the B-52, right?
I think so.
Yeah, B-52 stealth bomber. They're not stealth anymore.
Oh.
I was in my mind when I saw they'd retired them. It's like, why would they retire them? Remember the movie Broken Arrow? It was Christian Slater and John...
No.
The dude from Saturday Night Fever, John Travolta. And he steals a B-52 with a nuke on it, and he becomes kind of a terrorist, but he's trying to get money to give them the nuke back. But those were only stealth with technology that was way older. So the radars we have now, that's not stealth anymore.
Oh, well, good for us. The aliens probably helped.
100%. That's what they also said. This is because of aliens.
Oh, that's nice. I heard there's different type of aliens, not to do a segue on aliens. And I thought that was really funny because I never thought of them as different species of aliens. So for example, you know, if you put all not Americans, if you put all humans in a line together, there's a variety of us in terms of everything. And I thought aliens, you know, there's just the standard long, bulbous head, gray skin.
The grays, yeah.
Yeah, but I guess there's other kinds.
Well, and I guess within each kind, there's probably some deviation from the norm as well.
Sure.
It wouldn't be duplicates of the same, yeah.
Yeah, and I wonder what the beauty standards would be for aliens.
Like, look at that.
Versus what we see.
Look at the...
curvature?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a funny word. I got nothing. Look at he's got a nice 16-degree angle from the center mass of his head groin.
Head groin. That's honestly what it looks like.
Yeah, so I do agree that comparison can 100% be the thief of joy.
It is, in my opinion, the recipe for self-sabotage because we start looking outside of ourselves, see what everyone else is doing, being nosy little neighbors, and it can be such a good motivator in the beginning. But the problem is you can only look at what your neighbors are doing for so long. Once it starts to infiltrate your thoughts and the actions that you're taking in the day-to-day towards your goals, that's when it becomes a problem. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you hear about these people and they're just so focused on what everyone else is doing. It becomes an obsession.
I'm wondering from your perspective as a female, because I know as a man, the things that I compare are going to be status, wealth, possessions, maybe some physicality, but more on the side of what makes me viable as a worthwhile guy, which is like success. How does a woman... Is there some differentiation to what a woman looks at and uses as a comparison that may be a joy thief?
I think it's, I want to say everything. My initial thought was everything, right? Women covet so many things. I wouldn't even limit this to women necessarily. I'd say it's men, but your value is probably different, masculine versus feminine. So what you're saying, success, I would say for women, oftentimes it can be success. I think that's creeping in more and more now. But when I hear my friends talking, it's beauty standards. How do we look? Are we looking younger? Are we looking older? Are we looking hotter? Are we looking saggier? You know, there's just so many different things. And then you take that not only from beauty standards, then into style. You know, there's just a lot of judgment that women put on other women and men put on other men in every arena. And the more you do that, the less, the more you lose yourself, like the less you're able to really hone in on the skills that you have available to you because you're so worried about everyone else. There was this Harvard Business Review. It said, comparing yourself to a superstar entrepreneur, for example, Steve Jobs, is not healthy. It's actually debilitating. What starts as admiration can turn into reference anxiety, a form of stress over which we stand relative to others. Reference anxiety is both pointless and destructive. It prevents fulfillment and warps our perspective. And I was reading this and I thought, yeah, duh, we need to stop measuring yourself by someone else's numbers. They're not even playing your game. You're so worried about what everyone else is doing or what other people are doing in your arena. If you're in the business world or an entrepreneur, I mean, even in your personal lives, that now you're in a competition with them and they don't even know they're competing with you. Imagine if you and I are in a competition and I don't even know I'm competing with you and I'm just going about my day. Probably going to make you more frustrated and agitated and put you in like a negative spiral.
Yeah, and the big thing, I have so many thoughts on this topic because...
Can't wait.
Let me ask you this question. Comparing ourselves to someone at a high level can be a motivator. Is comparing ourselves to someone at a lower level a negative motivator? Would it create a false sense of confidence Whereas comparing ourselves to someone at a higher level may create a sense of reality for where I'm at and where I want to be.
Well, that's the difference, is if you're just doing it to say, okay, I do like what they're doing, I want to get to this level, and leaving it at that. But the people that put too much emphasis on it, they're the ones that start diminishing their return on watching other people. And I think my question for the other point you made is, if you're comparing yourself to someone that is quote unquote less than you, what's the point of that comparison?
I'd say, okay, let's use Hormozy. Hormozy's top of the game in terms of his social media stuff and his businesses. And let's say there's a guy who's middle of the road. I can't think of anyone off the top of my head, but I go, well, let me idolize. Yeah, see, that's where you get into it. It's not idolization. It's hard. I'm wondering, is there a safe way to pick a target that isn't going to steal your joy, but also motivate you? Because I get the fact that if I compare myself to Hormozy, who has, let's say he spends $200,000 to $400,000 on his social media team. He's also got $1 billion business. He's also got 10 more years in the game. It's going to make me feel bad because I'm never going to do anything that's going to cultivate anywhere near that level. And so probably not going to start even. Like, what's the point? But then if I compare it to someone lower, like, am I diminishing my ability to shoot for the stars? It's such a weird thing. And I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Why do you have to compare? That would be my question. Instead of comparing, you could use it as a benchmark. This is how this person got started. This is the path that they took. Do I want to take the same path? Can I take keys from the path? Yes, no. Figure that out for yourself. But what I'm saying is the comparison part. Like, why do you need to compare yourself to anybody? Why is your opinion, why does it matter? Stop measuring yourself by someone else's numbers. They're not even playing your game, especially as I relate this to social media. So social media has resulted in higher rates of depression and anxiety. Fun. People feel inadequate when viewing social media because we're looking at these highly curated lives. There's this upward comparison, which triggers inferiority in people. It gives problems with overall life satisfaction. It erodes a person's self-esteem, and it totally distorts reality, right? I mean, you're looking at me like, bitch, I know. What do you...
No, it's crazy. I definitely, especially when I was younger, fell prey to that. And, but I get it. If I had a way to, if I knew that by leasing a Lamborghini, leasing a penthouse, doing all that stuff, and I could directly correlate that to attention to then commerce, I get it. I get why people do that 100%. I think that's where people don't draw the line. They don't go, oh no, this person's literally spending this money to get this outcome. Not, that's their actual life because they're so rich. And I guess for me, it always goes back to money or success. I think maybe 1% of people actually have the monetary to do that, but those people really aren't all over social media doing that. Like, the guys who are really rich, they don't have the Lambos. Like, they just, the Gary V's, the Hormozys, whatever. They just, I've never seen Elon Musk drive a Lambo.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably driving that dumb Cybertruck. Yeah. And I think of, so women, they'll do more of this highly curated lifestyle. So maybe it's not the success component, but it's the adaptation of perfection in life. My plate is perfect. The table's perfect. You walk in, this perfect. Not a hair is out of place. My outfit is perfect. That, I see that and I'm like, girl, you must be exhausted. You must be so tired. I'm pretty tidy as a person, right? But at no point is anybody coming in here ready to videotape my home. And if I had a house that had to be perfectly curated all the time for potential videos, that must be exhausting. I bet you those people, they're murdering at night or something. Something crazy is happening, some sort of outlet. Like, you know, when people are straight edge, I'm convinced that when people are straight edge, it's either for one of two reasons. And I could be wrong. This is an armchair expert opinion. One, you were a maniac in a previous life. in this current life, but you were a maniac at some point and then you had to reform. I got to cut all this out of my life. Straight edge. Or 2, you have some dirty little secret.
Really? And they're
habit.
afraid when they're drunk, that comes out?
No, maybe you just doesn't have anything to do with alcohol or booze, but you're forcing yourself to be so straight edge because, I don't know, you like people putting things in places where you don't normally put them.
Oh, there's a darkness inside them that they're afraid of letting out, so they try to tighten it up.
Yeah.
Like all the people who hate gay people that are actually...
Oh, that are gay.
Homophobic people that are actually super gay.
Yes. Yeah. It could be along the same lines. And so you have to give this imagery of perfection. No, I don't do that. I don't drink. I don't do this. I can't let myself go there for whatever reason, whatever your reasoning would be around it. But there is a thing like, I'm not going to indulge in this.
The slippery slope.
I'm a little psychopath.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
Again, my personal opinion, it could be totally wrong.
It is, yeah. That was really trendy when we were 90s or early 2000s. I remember the straight edge thing was super trendy. A lot of bands were doing it. And that's when Disney was doing all that purity stuff. So maybe that was a portion of that.
Interesting.
Remember how Britney and Justin they had the virgin rings? No, we're saving ourselves. Really? You famous pop stars are not having sex? Okay, I believe you.
Yeah, I kind of would believe the women over the men.
If a girl was saying like the purity ring thing, that makes more sense. Yeah,
I don't know why.
Well, guys have just the proclivities of wanting to mate, I guess, as a man. And then if you have tons of options as a guy, which is such a rarity, it would be easier to indulge. Whereas a woman knows she has options no matter what.
Yeah, although women can be very, what's the word?
Picky?
Nope. Promiscuous.
Yeah, well, y'all have way more access.
Yeah, actually, guys think they have a lot of options, but I think women always have a lot more options.
I think all guys know women have way more options. Just
Oh,
even terms. Oh, yeah. I mean, think about it like this. Like, so you're in a relationship and you and your boyfriend break up. Doesn't matter who breaks up with who. You're both probably sad. A guy to then get back in the dating pool is like a sad, lonely, broken up guy. Hey, do you want to go on a date with me sometime? I promise I won't talk about my ex. Not going to happen. A girl could be like, I'm really down about this breakup. It's been tough emotionally. And a guy would be like, hey, you're hot. You want to go out? And she can be like, I guess I'm not really ready though. And he'll be like, I don't care. Do you want to go out with me? Boom. Access immediately. We're like for a guy, it's not an option.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah. If like, dude, we have to hunt. It's hard to hunt when you're sad. Like it took me, because I went through a breakup 2 years ago.
It's hard to hunt when you're sad.
Yeah, you're like, I don't want to hunt. But it's also a different mindset. You have to get back into a single guy mindset. When I was engaged and we broke up 2 years ago, it probably took me 18 months to not be weird to some degree, just to be confident enough to feel like I could go out and play the game and have fun and da-da-da-da, you know, getting that confidence back or whatever.
That's really interesting. If someone asked me out right away after a breakup, I probably wouldn't go. But I could. You're right.
You could, but and you're more healthy emotionally, I think. Most people will, I shouldn't say most, many people will say yes because they don't want to have to feel bad.
Oh, what I imagine that men do, sorry, this is now relationship stuff, but we love this. What I imagine men do is that they are sad and that, you know, that old adage, fastest way to get over someone is to get under someone.
Yep.
That's what I imagine men do. They're not on the hunt to date. They're just on the hunt to bang their feelings away.
I think when I was younger, I could have indulged in that path more. Being in a party lifestyle, it was easier to do that. So yeah, I think that is definitely what a lot of dudes will also do. Being more mature now and I don't party as much and I'm not as social, I guess that I have less access to that lifestyle. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, that's a good comparison.
So interesting.
There's probably got to be some truth to both.
Yeah, for sure. Well, speaking of comparison, let's get back to comparing this little thief of ours. You're not falling behind. You're just in someone else's timeline.
Wow. I relate to that so hard.
Yeah, it's like this validation seeking. It's a trap. Validation seeking validation, looking for someone to tell you you're so great is a trap. Constantly seeking validation is a trap. All of it's a trap. The internet's a trap. Don't look at anything. Okay. Do not click go. Do not collect $200. Do not think I'm just going to go on here. It's going to make everything better. Or I'm going to put this thing on the internet and then I'm going to find value in it. And then people will know that I'm really great. I used to work with someone and they were spiraling off of photos that they put on the internet that weren't getting enough attention and feedback. We spent an hour talking about it one time at work. And I remember thinking like, this doesn't matter. This isn't real life. This doesn't actually matter. And you're diminishing these beautiful photos because enough people didn't like them on the internet. Like, what are you even saying right now?
Was they trying to do some sort of influencer thing?
No, I'm trying to be vague because I don't want to call it out because I really like this person.
Yeah, I mean.
But it was a dumb moment. And she just wanted people to be like, wow, this is the best. You're the best. And in that moment, I had an aha. I thought, oh, you care so much about what other people are thinking that your life and your brain are exhausting. You're probably so tired at the end of the day because you're just worried, did so-and-so like me? That's exhausting.
That's tough. I've definitely noticed since putting ourselves out there more, and me, you know, I have my own social channels as well. You have your own social channels. Being authentic versus being what you want to be perceived as. It's the don't think about pink elephants. Putting the fake self out there performs way worse than the real self, but getting comfortable with the real self is so hard. So I could see how someone, especially if they're not actually trying to be a social media influencer, so every time they post, it's this moment of, okay, I've crafted this perfect persona, this perfect thing, and I really want to be recognized as perfect, would be devastating, I guess. But it's funny when what you come to realize from putting all these reps in, when I fire off the, oh God, I got to do this really quick, or oh, I had this cool idea really quick, and it's zero thought out in terms of having to pretend I'm presenting or something, that's the stuff for me that performs the best.
Yeah, I've heard that.
It takes reps though.
Yeah, it definitely
Being authentic
does.
and not trying to be picture perfect takes reps.
And confidence.
Yeah, which comes from reps in my mind.
Totally comes from, yeah, they're very much correlated. If we had a diagram and a chart, they would both be
reps would be one of the
together.
steps.
Yeah. And I think too, I wrote in my notes, this trap of constant seeking of validation creates separation because people don't know or see the real you, which completely backs up and validates everything you're just saying. It's exactly it. People don't think that you're real, and you can sniff out when someone's being fake.
You just notice it, even if you don't notice it. That's my belief, because when the posts where I'm really trying to put a lot of effort in perform poorly, I think they're good, but people are just very in tune. We know a lot that we don't actively know.
Yeah. Oh my God. I started to tell you this earlier, but it's kind of relevant. So I love a book on tape, and I wanted to listen to this book on tape called, I think it was Sociopath. And it's about this woman it's an autobiography, and she is a sociopath, not a bad one. She's just explaining that she's a sociopath in her life. Well, I couldn't get through it. I couldn't even get into it because there was something about it that turned me off immediately. And she's the author. She's the one reading the book to you. And I was cooking dinner last night trying to listen to it. And I'm like, what is going on here? Why am I so put off by this person? And she's talking about the void of emotion. And she had an impulse control issue. And she said a lot of sociopaths have impulse control issues because they aren't actually feeling anything, like feeling something to be nice. And then all of a sudden they get super impulsive. And I realized, like, oh, she doesn't feel emotions, and I'm completely put off by her lack of emotions because I am an intuitive that reads people's emotions, and you don't have any, and I don't know what to do with that.
Oh, you're just sensing the void.
Yes.
So there's actually no... I'm going to use a Star Wars reference here. It's going to be a deep cut. So if anyone doesn't like Star Wars, hit the fast forward button for 15 seconds. So there's this planet where Emperor Palpatine, who's the main bad guy, performs this Sith ritual, and he saps all the life force from the planet, like trees, insects, every human being. That's why he's immortal. And these Sith have to go there to look at it. and they're unable to tap into the force. And it was the absence of the force that felt so painful and uncomfortable for them, because it would. So that void of emotion, which is the source of your power, I guess. And the void of it is so uncomfortable. That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't believe this person. I can't connect to them. I don't know, like.
Where do the impulses come from then? What do they get? My impulses are always emotionally based.
Well, their impulses, a lot of times for sociopaths, are murder. Hers, no, I'm exaggerating. It isn't always murder, but it usually is something, I think, devious. I think the line is pushed so much farther. So her thing was stealing. She would just steal things from people.
Because it would make her feel something?
I think in the attempt to feel something. So I didn't get very far because I just couldn't. And I wanted to. But she would say that she was sitting in class and there was this girl in front of her. And she wanted to like push her off the chair or hit her or something. But instead her little hair clip was hanging. And she was like, okay, or I could not do a violent act to this person. And I could just take their hair clip instead. I'm going to take the hair clip.
Oh, they're like those crazy thoughts you get. And then your brain goes, that's crazy. And you don't act on it. But because they have no emotions to regulate. Oh, yeah, don't do that. Do that. Oh, that makes sense.
Wild.
Yeah.
Just wild.
What an interesting problem to have.
I don't want that problem. We're really derailing this, but I think it's so interesting. In nature, if I was, let's say I'm a rabbit, okay, and I have 4 baby bunnies, and I think something's wrong with one of the baby bunnies, I will sit and smother my bunny baby, because I know it's not going to survive out in nature. And this would include it, let's say it didn't have all of its paws, or it's missing an ear, or there was a mental defect, something the mama bunny knows. And she's like, got to take him out. I can't put him out into the world. Not that I think we should be smothering our babies.
Yeah. Like there was a time in history where someone tried to do something similar to this.
Wait. What are you saying?
Kidding. It was a Hitler joke.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, not that I'm trying to like kill babies. It's just interesting that at some point, I'm sure there was a point in human evolution where we didn't necessarily try to save the babies. Like imagine you are in a tribe, okay, and you're being hunted by another tribe and your baby has colic. That baby's giving up the whole tribe. I'm sure there were civilizations where they were like, get the baby out of here. Gotta go.
They're 100% where they would cast babies into like ritually into like a fissure if they were deformed.
Which is wild.
But it was, like you said, it was this tribal survival mentality. We didn't have the resources then to where we can take care of those that are disadvantaged. And so, yeah, it would be a burden on everyone to have someone that was less abled.
Okay, now take all of this knowledge we've just talked about and apply it to people like Hitler. Like, oh, maybe his mom should have sat on and smothered him.
She should have smothered him. Do you think he had that mustache when he was born?
Hitler's mom?
Like a little peach fuzz.
What if Hitler's mom had the mustache first? I'm just kidding.
Oh.
No, I guess that was like at the time, it was a really big thing. A lot of people had it. But now that will never be an into fashion thing ever again.
Charlie Chaplin. He had the thing.
Yeah, same time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I heard Hitler had a micro penis. So
did he?
And okay, Hitler, Stalin, and there was a third guy, that tyrant, very bad man. I don't remember who, but I'm not saying
Mussolini.
Yeah, maybe their mom should have sat on them too.
This is a rabbit hole. Maybe I won't go down it. But I like this micro penis thing.
Love the rabbit holes. Social media isn't inspiration. It's illusion. And it's draining your creativity. Every time you worry about someone else or you compare too much, you're draining your own creativity. You're not allowing you to come through. You're not allowing you to shine. And we're losing originality. We're losing ideas. If we all have this wonderful little gift, it's not little, it's a big gift. If we all have a gift that we've been given, we want to share it with the world, those of us who have been able to tap into it, then why aren't we using our gift? Why do we worry about somebody else's gift or try and copy someone else's gift? this is the problem. Everything started as an idea. Everything you look at any point in time, in any part of your day today, was an idea from someone. Someone had the idea, and then they had the courage and the conviction to chase after the idea. This sofa was an idea. This microphone, the shape of it, the color, all of it was an idea. You are robbing the world of your originality and your gifts when you are just comparing yourself to other people.
Especially when you mentioned the timeline thing. I was out the other night when I bumped into these comedians and I was picking their brains about, hey, what's the secret sauce? And the biggest takeaway I had was they said there were so many people that were so good, they just quit too soon. And so the timeline thing, I'm 40, and there were so many times when I told myself, well, it's too late to start that because I needed to be 25 to be on social media or whatever. Yeah. I remember being 25 thinking, oh, it's too late for me to do that. I need to be 21. She's like, why does that age difference even matter? But there's this timeline perception. And obviously, if you start earlier, yeah, it's great. But the saying is the best time to start is 10 years ago. The next best time is right now.
Yeah. Why not now?
And that comparison was the thief of my joy for a long time. It kept me playing small and staying stuck because I thought to myself, I missed that boat.
It does keep you small. And there's always someone else to compare yourself to. Regardless of what stage you're at in life, there's competition. I'm sure there's billionaires out there that are trying to out-billionaire the next billionaire. Like, what a bunch of losers. Worry about you. It seems like such a waste of energy, and it seems so exhausting to me. It's probably why I'm so put off by it. And I do find myself falling into the rabbit hole of it also. How can you not? Especially when you have like a sad moment or you're not feeling super confident that day. Or when you compare yourself to things that are so outside of your league. That to me is the worst. Do you ever do that?
That happened to me literally yesterday. I was watching a video about Diary of a CEO. That, by the way, awesome podcast. If you guys want to sponsor us or give us some of that $25 million you make annually, that'd be sick. And they're talking about it was a guy analyzing what they do and their performance and all this stuff. And my brain did that thing because they're at a level that we're working towards. And I literally got so depressed. It's like, oh my God, that's so much work. That's such a long road. And that comparison made me feel like shit for a second. I pulled myself back in. I'm like, well, what can you control right now? What are you working towards? Is that even the same goal? Is that even the same thing you're trying to do? So it's, that comparison, especially if you have really big goals. So of course you're going to be watching people at this level that are idol level. That's not a good comparison. It's like, yes, reference point. But I wish more people, and I see Hermosi do this sometimes, talk about the suck time. Yeah, I felt the same thing. I was afraid to sell things to people because I didn't think they'd find any value in it. I slept on the floor, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's what we need to look at the people we idolize and then compare them to those moments. And then we can actually relate and then understand that it is possible from where we are to where they are because we can do the same thing.
That's incredible advice. Spot on. No notes.
And that's why anyone watching this, because I know most successful people watch this podcast, most billionaires watch this podcast, and social media influencers talk about when it sucked. Everyone could benefit so much from, because it doesn't matter now because you're crushing it. It matters to us, the people that are in the trenches that are pulling ourselves up.
Yes.
That's the stuff that people are going to connect to, the creators that are doing the things, the new entrepreneurs, the new founders. That's what most mentors do is, hey, I've been there. Here's how I feel. But most people don't want to put that out there because they want to be perfect. They want that comparison. They want to be compared as the top person, not as the person who, guys, I felt that way too.
Yeah. And you're right. Everybody that I've met and I've told, I quit my corporate job, they've all been like, so good, welcome. And I'll be like, I'm going to be the best and I'm so happy and I'm so confident. And all of them said to me something along the lines of, just wait. There'll be some moments where you don't feel this way. And I kept thinking, for you, not for me, for you. But probably, yes, there are moments where you do feel that way. It's about getting yourself back into the game. You can't stay on the downturn for too long. It needs to be a quick turnaround,
The point of the game isn't to win the game. The point of the game is to keep playing.
Yeah.
That's a Hermosi quote that I butchered. But as long as you keep playing, you'll keep winning.
No, I love that. I love playing games. I like playing Scrabble. Big sequence fan. Skippo. Call me. I'm really good at spades. Which means I can play hearts, or I can play there's another one that's
Bridge.
similar to it. Any of those games, I'm really good at card games.
Spades is fun. Bridge is really fun when you get a good gang. A good gang at the old senior center. Hey, Jerry and what are old people names? Give me some old people names. Mildred and Milford. Margaret.
I mean, Joseph does fit in with it. I bet there's a Joseph in there.
Yeah.
I never thought of people our age playing bridge. It was a very good, delightful thought for me right now.
I played with my grandpa. He was a big bridge OG. There's a way to play 2-person bridge, but you have a fake partner. So it'd be me versus him, and then my partner I could pull from their cards.
Oh, that's cool.
It was fun.
I love it. Well, bring bridge back.
Bring bridge back. That's our new thing.
Really hard to say.
BBB.
Well, then I was thinking about comparison in the workplace. So, I mean, I'm not in the workplace anymore, thank God. But when I was, there would be a lot of side chatter regarding the comparison. So there was a 2024 study. When workers were comparing themselves to high-performing peers, they were drained of mental resources and productivity. They had a loss of drive and focus, and increase of procrastination. So when people fear being inferior to others, the stress can undermine their self-control and prompt them to put off important tasks. Rather than risk failure and confirming one's inferior self-image, individuals may delay action, a self-defeating cycle. And over time, this loss of drive and focus means that comparison not only makes you feel worse, but actually makes you accomplish less.
This is the first time I've actually understood what people, because I'm on the opposite end of that. Being in I was in sales most of my career. I started in marketing. Actually, when I was in marketing, comparing myself to other high performers actually did have those types of negative effects. But when I was in a performance-based role, using the best person as a barometer for my success actually helped me. But I think it's because I'm someone who's mentally capable of doing that. Whereas I think someone who is a chronic underperformer would actually create inferior results.
Yeah. I used to manage a tanning salon way back when. LA Tan.
That's amazing.
Actually by your house. So before I got into my managerial role at the LA Tan, I was the top salesperson there because it was so easy for me. And the girls would get so mad and they'd say, "You gave Christina the best times. Of course she has the best sales." And then my boss said, "Hey, I got to give you these shitty times." And I said, "Okay, fine." And I still had the best sales. Right. So now they were just downtrodden in me being better. And they were just worried about me. Like, don't worry about the sales that I'm doing. Worry about the sales you're doing. How about that?
It is a big thing where the people that do the best don't worry about what other people are doing. There's that photo of Michael Phelps when he's getting like his 9,000th gold medal. And the guy in second place is doing this. And Michael Phelps is just looking straight ahead. He's not worried about what other people are doing.
Yeah. Because when I was selling, I was worried about that person in front of me. I'm selling to them. I'm worried about that.
What was your strategy? If I went in there and you're okay, well, let's pretend you're a tanning salon sales trainer consultant. What would you tell the front desk gals or guys that is the secret sauce?
Okay, so let's think about this. You're coming into a tanning salon because you want to be tan, probably because you believe that being tan makes you hotter. That was the number one experience that I had working there. Maybe I'm wrong, but that was my experience.
That feels accurate.
So you are having surface level relationships with these people because they're short interactions. But in those surface level interactions, I would try and find something about them that I wanted to compliment. So now I'm just building a strong relationship. The other thing is these people come in every day. The real tanners, they were coming in once a week, maybe every other day. So you're seeing these people a lot and they're very short bursts of interaction. I can't remember all of them, but I can make them feel excited to come see me because now when you're talking to me, I'm making you feel really good about yourself. Oh my God, Joe, did you get a new haircut? Because I at least have eyes. I'm like, okay, I don't remember people's, I'm very bad with names, but I'm very good with faces. I'll know that. And I'm very good with the detail of looking at someone. And so you start complimenting little things. People are like, wow, she noticed I got a haircut. That was really nice. She didn't have to notice that. Thank you. Yes, Christina, I did get a haircut. Thank you so much. And now they go off back into their tanning bed, right? And now they trust me because I make them feel good and I remember them. And then I'd say, well, we got this new tanning lotion. You should get this one. And I would always talk about the most expensive one, knowing that they are not going to buy the most expensive, but they'll probably buy a level down. I would aim high.
So you would pitch the high one, and then would you pitch this one's really good too, and it's actually $20 less?
Yeah, I'd be like, this is the one. And they'd be like, how much? $150. Oh, $150? I'm like, okay, I know. Okay, so if it was me and I was going to spend money, I wouldn't necessarily get this one, but I would get this one. And then I would pitch the second one.
That's so smart because that actually creates the dissonance where then that feels a good deal.
Yes.
Because if you start with, they did this study. I actually want to respond to what you said first. So the noticing of people thing, when I was in sales, I would always make personal notes about people. Hey, how was Jimmy's soccer game? People love feeling like you remember them. Oh my God, I'm important. I'm not just like this nameless, faceless person.
Yes.
It almost makes them feel they owe you something, which is a weird psychological thing. But when someone remembers something about you,
but it builds connection. Even
100%.
when you're just trying to remember in the beginning, it is building. Like it does build something.
Oh yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah, and it's almost obligatory because then they're like, wow, they want to return that same energy, and the way that they can do that is by buying something, doing something for them. There's an exchange of value. Money is one source of value. The other sense of value is you giving them this connection and this good feeling. Then the other thing that I think is masterful, I read this study when pool tables used to be a big thing. I don't know if it was Brunswick or someplace where people would go and look at pool tables, a pool table showroom. They tested starting with the lowest priced one and then going to the highest priced one. And then they tested going from the highest priced one to the lowest priced one. Mm. Starting with the lowest priced one, most people bought the lowest priced one.
Yeah.
Starting with the highest priced one, most people bought the middle priced one.
Yeah.
It created this cognitive dissonance where, that's even more expensive. Oh, that's even more expensive. No, we'll just get the entry level one, where it was value driven versus price driven. So this is the gazillion-dollar table. You're like, oh, that's a little steep. You're like, okay, that one's significantly less expensive. And then they're going, oh, the bottom one is probably a piece of shit. Let's get the middle one.
Yeah. The other thing too at the tanning salon is we have these little sample packs.
Oh, the lotion?
Yeah. And if I knew someone spent a lot of money often, I would give them one. I'd be like, it's on me. And I give them a little sample pack and I would just pay out of pocket for it, the $5.
Oh, you had like a little, when you bartenders give drinks away, what the hell do they call that? House tab.
We didn't necessarily have one. And sometimes I would tell the owner, I'd be like, I gave this away today because so-and-so's already bought 4 bottles and I just gave them a sample. Or they'd make like my discernment on that.
Sure.
And they always say like, of course. But there's something too, to back up your other point, not just with the compliment, but when you give something also to them, this exchange, right? I see the value in you spending a lot of money here. And so I'm going to give you something. My friends and I used to go to this one bar. I was really young and everyone was a lot older than I. And they would spend all this money, right? And the tab would be crazy. And the owner was such a piece of shit. He would never do anything. If I had people that were coming in consistently every Friday and probably dropping $5,000 to $100 after work in this large group, give the one guy who's paying a lot, give him a round of shots.
Yeah.
Just do something for him. If you ordered a burger, the burger's on me. No, this guy was so greedy, this owner. And we kept going back there because people love this bar because of the bartenders. But I remember every time thinking, this guy is so greedy. Of course, that bar is not around anymore. I wonder why. Because you don't appreciate people. There's not a fair exchange. And it's not required to give people things. But when you are building a relationship and you are spending time with someone regularly, especially someone that's giving you money, you should give them something.
Yeah, there needs to be an equal exchange. That's interesting. So is this a conscious thing? Was that always a conscious thing, or was this value-driven social economy always something that you've done just intuitively?
What do you mean?
So you're noticing this building of the relationship and intrinsic exchange of value. Is that something that you've always done intuitively, or that's something that you cultivated? I'm fascinated by the fact that you're so good at selling, and then your philosophy. It's really intelligent, but I'm just wondering where you came from.
Intuitive.
Yeah, that's so fascinating.
Because I like relationships. I like and by when I say relationships, people get confused. They think relationships just means men, woman, dating, like this traditional relationship, or man, whatever. It's not about that. It's relationships in terms of how do people interact with other people. Those are the kind of relationships I'm interested in, and I like watching. And I think it's the most important and fascinating thing.
That's so cool. I feel like I'm surprised you didn't go into sales. That sounds incredible.
I am not good at being fake.
Oh, okay. Same.
I can be
get
fake
that.
for very short amounts of time.
So you'd have to really sell something that you believed had value.
Yes. And also, I've been told that I'm not ruthless enough for it.
I know I've worked with plenty of people that aren't ruthless. There's a lot of personalities that can succeed at selling. I think the people that are quote unquote ruthless, savage, it's a different mindset, and they can definitely sell well. But I remember I bought something recently. This is like last year. It was this coaching company, and the sales guy was really good. I was like, wow, this guy's an incredible salesperson. It was like $10,000, and I had epic buyer's remorse because the value wasn't there, but he was really good selling. So I think with people like that they're more likely to experience buyer's remorse because the sale is the most important thing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just depends on what your value lies at.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, if I'm ever trying to sell you something, just know that I deeply believe in the value of it.
Yeah.
Because ethically, in my internal compass, I couldn't. Buy a bunch of stuff from us.
Yeah. Take my course. It's $8 million.
But for you can get 2 of them for $19.99.
Yeah, that's the today only discount. It's $7 million discounted, and 909,000.
I went on Temu one time, and I feel like that's how it works on that app.
It's like Groupon now. Well, this watch used to be $10,000, but now it's $72. You're like, I have to have it.
What a good deal!
Yeah, what a deal!
Schmath.
99.9% off. Schmath.
Comparison doesn't motivate you; it manipulates you. It convinces you you're not enough.
Wow.
So using others as your success metric, which is what we often do, I mentioned it's a trap because it is. Gary Vaynerchuk, he had this really amazing quote. Every second you spend thinking about what someone else has, it's taking away from the time that you can create something for yourself. If you're wasting hours scrolling through others' glamorous achievements, you're losing. You grow envious, impatient, and it cripples your future potential.
Dude, I resonate with that so hard. It's that I'm not making enough of a dent in this ridiculous goal, so nothing matters. I realized something recently. I had to rehome my dog because I've been traveling a lot and working too much, and it's unfortunate. I was really sad about it, but I realized that it made me create a parallel. So I used to make a ton of money in corporate America, but once something gets normalized in my life, I no longer care about it, and I only focus on the problems, back to the problems, because the goals are so big. And so it's easy to forget using this comparison that eventually steals my gratitude, because I don't go, wow, I'm so lucky to have this thing. My dog was only annoying, 5% of the time. I just didn't have time to take care of him anymore. I felt sorry for him. But I started focusing more on what an inconvenience it was having a dog. And then only in the absence of having my little buddy there did I go, wow, but that's what that does. It literally takes away your ability to be grateful for what you have, focus on problems. And then it's how much harder is it to climb so if I drive a certain car now, but the guy 10 levels above me drives a car that takes me 10 levels to get to, nothing's going to ever make me feel good until I get to that level. And guess what? Then when I get to that level, it still won't make me feel good because I spent the wrong energy trying to get there.
Yes. That's the whole key to all of this is you are putting your energy in the wrong places instead of back into yourself. And then you feel this lack of satiation. When you get somewhere and you're like, that was anticlimactic.
Yeah. What's
what the hell am I wasting my time here for? What did I do this all for? What is the actual point? the thing that Joe and I were trying to do is have more fun. I keep saying like, I need to have more fun. We need to have more fun. My guides and angels keep telling me like, you're not having enough fun. Why aren't you having more fun? Go have fun. And so that's been part of this. And even with that, you know, you look at other people and other entrepreneurs, you're like, they're working all the time. Well, I don't care. I don't care what they're doing. Are they having fun? Not my problem. We're going to have fun. We have to have fun. Fun is the key.
Yes.
Chronic social comparison contributes to imposter syndrome and stress, which over the long run can snowball into burnout. And I thought that was really interesting because we don't always think about imposter syndrome being related to us comparing ourselves to other people. As someone who actively lives in a space of imposter syndrome, I know that I'm comparing myself, but I'm not actively aware that I'm comparing myself. I'm not like aware of where the imposter syndrome is coming from. And it's comparison.
Dude, it totally is it's either the imposter because you're trying to be the self you're not yet. But really for me, and this is where that fraud thing comes in, it is looking at the people that are at the top of the space and telling myself it's only good enough if I'm at that level.
Yeah.
So what value do I have? E.g., I am a fraud.
Yeah.
I'm going to get found out.
So then I was taking this down the entrepreneurial rabbit hole, and I had a couple stats.
This is a good hole to go down.
68% of entrepreneurs admit to feeling like a failure at some point in their journey. We're not alone.
I really wish it was 69% right after I made that whole comment.
Actually, maybe we added to it.
So now it's 69% because now we're included. Oh, thank God.
Thank God.
That's serendipitous.
And 60% of entrepreneurs are at a higher risk of burnout more than regular employees. Thought leaders note that part of this burnout risk comes from the relentless pressure entrepreneurs put themselves in to measure up. Comparing yourself to others is a dead end, especially when it comes to personal growth. It yields more stress than motivation, more distraction than useful insight. While a little competitive drive can push us to excel, living in a constant state of comparison undermines the very progress that we seek.
Wow.
I feel that. I felt that one. My bad.
Yeah.
I've been doing that.
Who are people that you compare yourself to? Are there any high-level thought leaders that are the benchmark, but also sometimes become the comparison standard?
These are going to be really weird. Are you ready?
It's like Mother Teresa.
I didn't mean ew.
Harriet Tubman.
I'm not a saint.
Not a tub girl. Is that what the Harriet Tubman fans are called? Oh my God.
I think Joe just had a stroke.
Yeah, have you ever seen that website? Tub Girl?
What?
Oh, yeah, no. Don't look at that.
Okay.
I thought that was a known thing. Maybe
not
just
suitable for work?
Yeah. And NSFW.
NSF. You know what's cool though? I ain't got no job where I have to worry about anybody looking at my computer. I can look at whatever I want.
What's really funny about that is I actually started using a new browser called Opera because not like it even matters. I private browse when I look at certain things. No one's looking at my browser history ever.
No, but should you and I have a pact? Maybe if one of us, if we are unalived, the other one just does a clean sweep.
Yeah, I think we need to have that.
Let's
for
take
sure.
that offline.
We'll get LastPass for both of our computers and just nuke everything if one of us falls off the grid.
We should do a poor man's will where we mail each other a piece of certified mail. And inside the letter, it says, you don't open it. You have to keep it closed, right? Until the day you die. And then it would say, like, give Christina my laptop before anybody looking at it. And then I'll just go, I'll step on it or something. I'll break it.
That's a really good idea. Yeah. Bottom of the Mariana Trench.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye.
Yeah. So, my mentor, Lisa Thomas, but she's been doing energy healing so much longer than I have that of course she's better than I am, right? She's put in more reps. To your point. Another one, this is going to be a wild one. It's going to make you giggle. Not because of her aesthetic, but because of her abilities. But Teresa Caputo, she's such a strong medium.
The Long Island median, isn't that her thing? You think she's legit?
Yeah, I believe her.
Wow. I haven't watched it enough to.
Yeah, she's legit. I get that anticipatory feeling. So she always jokes when I used to watch her TV show years ago, she would get kind of nervous. She'd get like this weird feeling and she'd be like, I gotta go tell this person about this thing. I think that person over there, I think their aunt is here from blah, blah, blah. And I'm afraid to go tell them. I feel that way.
You relate to that.
Yes, I get that anxious feeling of like, oh, I think I have this piece of information, but I don't know if it's real and what if it's wrong. And I got to go over there and I think I need to tell this person. It's a weird feeling. And so based on that is how I believe her, other than also the emotion of just feeling like I know her. But that's who I look up to. I'm like looking up to some weirdos, in the same realm as me.
That's cool. I knew you'd have an interesting answer. That's why I asked.
Who are yours?
I'd probably do the standard. I love Hermosi. There's another big creator that I like, or entrepreneur.
Oh, Lauren Bostic. I love her.
Lauren Bostic?
The Him and Her podcast.
Oh,
Skinny Confidential.
Yeah. She's sharp AF.
I adore her.
She seems funny, actually. Like I've only listened to a couple of their episodes. The Tony Robbins episode, she made a BJ joke, and it was so effing funny, and even Tony repeated the joke a bunch of times and he was dying laughing. And I was like, I like this girl. Like, she's amusing. And she's obviously super sharp also. It required intelligent comedic timing to make the joke. But it was so NSFW that it made me instantly like her.
Oh, see?
Yeah.
I want to be her.
But I probably do like a Hermosi type guy. But I'm not a hustle culture guy. So I struggle with that because the biggest thing that messes me up is the hustle culture. There is an inflection point where you just feel terrible versus just feeling bad because you're working really hard. And I think it encourages this. The guys who are in the hustle culture guys, they live, eat, breathe, sleep, love, work, hustle. And I'm not like that, unfortunately. I wish I was. I think my life would be a lot easier. And I think it's such a rare percentage of people who have that hustle enjoyment where it doesn't actually deplete them. And it makes people feel like success is so unattainable. And so when I slip into those types of comparisons, it becomes it has a very negative reinforcement loop for me.
Yeah. What I would say to that is their goals are way different than yours. Their goals are to conquer.
I don't want to conquer. I just want like $1 billion.
You want to enjoy.
Yeah. And then, but because I want to enjoy things. Oh man, I've never thought of that.
The long term of it is theirs is conquering. If we were independent nations and they were the leaders of the militia, that's what they'd be doing. They'd just be conquering.
That's huge. I just realized it's the goal of me getting the resources and the success and all that is to enjoy it.
Yes.
That's not their goal. It's not to enjoy it.
That's why they don't take vacations or want to take vacations or don't know how to take a vacation.
So telling. So it's almost like, how can you enjoy it if you don't do a thing that makes you enjoy it? Whatever it is that you enjoy, channel that, and that's going to make getting there. Because when I was, successful on paper, I wasn't enjoying it, and I didn't enjoy having it because I had so little time to enjoy it.
You were conquering.
I was just afraid. I was conquering, but I was meant to be a little
maybe
happy
reframing who your people would be if you were to compare. Oh, not that now. Actually, this might be creating a bad habit. I was like, go find people to compare that have the same end goal that you have.
I think it is good though to have a proper comparison tool. If you're comparing yourself to the wrong people, you might go too small. If you might go too big. So finding a proper benchmark.
A healthy
benchmark.
Healthy comparison.
Yeah. Healthy comparison. Which
leads me then to the closing of this. Because if we haven't beat this dead horse yet, we're going to continue.
I love it.
The more you obsess over other people's success, the more you stall your own. And so the most important takeaway from all of this is about redirecting your energy. Redirect your energy back into you. Gary Vaynerchuk, he has this amazing quote. The only comparison that you should be having is you against you yesterday, is you versus you last week, against you versus you 7 years ago. That's the only comparison you should be having.
I love that because you can actually measure progress and feel good, or see where you're not progressing, and that's motivating because at least you can control it.
Yeah, Joe and I are 2 months into this. And the other day I did say that. I go, we've done this for 2 months. Yay. Like, look at us. We are so in the trenches. We may not have even been aware of the timeline had I not made a point to like mark it in my calendar to make it as a call out.
Yeah, and seeing the progression, which is actually really cool because we get to see the finished product. Wow, this is a lot better. This is a lot better. Having that constant reminder of progress, because progress doesn't feel like progress if we look for these external factors. Why don't I have as many followers as Diary of a CEO does? Yeah. Oh, shit. You know what? I don't say like 800 times anymore. I say it 400 times now.
You're welcome.
You're welcome, America.
Well, if I haven't convinced you to stop comparing yourself to others, I'm sorry. I did my best. Now it's on you because it's not going to serve you.
Yeah, take some fucking responsibility. Just kidding. And also, I want to mention any other countries that listen. We are country agnostic on this podcast. Because I said America.
Oh.
America.
Well, based on our data. That's what Joe's going off of.
Yeah,
the data says America loves us.
Yeah.
We love you. Now go follow us. Go like us. Share this episode. If you find a key moment where you think we're being super silly, let us know about it in the comments.
Yep. Clip it. Make a fan TikTok account and start posting our content, please. Thank you.
Yeah. And just make sure you like do one of those where you turn us into lemons or something. Just like 2 lemons on a couch.
Use like one of the iPhone face filters.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. What if that became so popular that we had to wear lemon costumes though?
Oh, then I could say anything I wanted.
Would you, if the only way for us to become wildly successful is if we had to dress in fruit-based mascots?
Joe, I love a costume.
Okay. All right.
I'd come up with new fruits as many as I could.
Okay. As long as there was some ability to rotate the fruits.
I mean, it could be one fruit. I'm just saying, like, if it's got to be fruits, I'd come as a jackfruit one day.
Would you do like FX makeup, or would you wear an actual costume, like a mascot costume? FX makeup would be cool.
You'll never know.
Or will we? Wait for episode 100.
We're just 2 lemons.
We're going to hire an FX makeup artist to turn us into...
I could do it. I could do the makeup on it.
Really? Okay.
I'm good at makeup like that.
I'm excited. I want prosthetics and like 8 hours of Jim Carrey the Mask style makeup.
Your head is a banana.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I was literally thinking I have that like that little thing with the little stopper, whatever the heck that thing's called, the peeler. Yeah.
If I said to you an avocado's belly button, do you know what I'm saying?
I've never thought about it like that. Yeah. I was thinking more butthole.
I always described it as a belly button.
That's really funny. It kind of looks more like a belly button, actually.
But everybody knows what it is.
Immediately.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Have an amazing day. We love you. Like and subscribe.
Bye.